Hi, welcome to Hina's video cast. So today I'm going to talk about another common concern that we all as professionals face it, a lot of the teachers face it, parents face it, and obviously the children are going through. That is the reversals of letters or maybe numbers as well. So now firstly I'm going to just elaborate on what are the problems of reversals, in what ways the reversals can occur. We are just familiar with one kind, but there are different sorts and types. So let's talk about first one, that is writing the letter backward. That is writing B as D, P as Q. So that's the way, that is writing letter backwards. Then you are flipping the letters while you're writing, or writing the letter as flipped, which means that you're writing U as N and W as M or M as W, howsoever. So writing the letter backwards, writing the letter flipped. Now sometimes with the reversals, it's just not the way you're writing it, it's also how you're reading it. So the reading comprehension also is faulty. That is reading the letter backward. So you're going to read the word bad as dab. So that's what I meant. Then is again another way is of writing other letters which could be written backward is like S, Z or Z, N. So all of that is being written as mirror images or backward that ways. Then is when the child is writing full words with the letters in it, the sequencing of the letters in it, transposing the letters is there. Like lot of confusion when there is writing of the words like friend and receive. Even I make that mistake, but that is transposing the letters I-E. So the spelling gets incorrect. Then is like writing the number in place of the alphabet or the letter. Like the child has to write hen, but in place of E, he must just write 3. So some children like E in that form, so they will just reverse it and write 3. So these are the problems of reversals. So remember, they are not just one kind of reversals. In fact, I have labeled just 5 and 6. There are many sorts. So if you go in detail of it, there are many sorts, but these are the most common ones which you can trace in the notebooks or when the child reads or writes. Now, what are the solutions? Now, how to correct these reversals? Can these be sorted? Can this be solved? Yes, it can be sorted out, but a lot of practice is needed and correct approaches are needed. So first of all, whenever I say a letter, like that's the first solution I'm going to talk about. Whenever I say a letter, I need to have a mental picture of it. So it's the same way if I'm describing a scene, if I'm describing some landscape, if I'm describing some music, you always have some mental picture of it. So in the same manner, whatever letter the child is asked to write, he or she should be having a mental picture, and which we technically call as orthographic coding in the mind. Okay, so I'll repeat the term orthographic coding in mind, but you do not have to worry about learning this term. Even if you're a professional or a parent, you just have to remember that what I'm talking about is developing a mental picture of the alphabet or the letter or the number in the mind of your child. So how could that be done is always associating the letter with the sound and the name. Name is B, sound is B. Name is D and sound is D. Name is N, sound is N. So that's the phonic sound. So always associate the letter with its name and sound. So this is really, really important. That's how you should always introduce the letters to a child. It should not be A, B, C. It should be the sound as well, not just the name. We might have learned it only the name base and we gradually learned the sound. But for nowadays, it has to be the name and the sound, both has to be taught so that you can prepare the mental picture in the mind and indirectly you are developing the orthographic coding in the mind. So you are Again, by doing this, you are establishing the visual memory as well as auditory memory. So that is going to result into a letter reflex. So now I'm talking a little technical. By associating the auditory and the visual memory of the letter, you are building basically a letter reflex. So if I say M, immediately that letter reflex is going to erupt in the mind and the child will be able to write it or read it. So basically, you can also you can check the learning style of your child. You can check on what sense the child is more relying on. That is the VARK theory. That is visual, auditory, or is it simply reading or kinesthetic? Okay, so when it goes to kinesthetic, then use the fingers. So for that, you have to use a lot of body movement. How you make the letters with the body. That's an activity which we do as a gross motor, but some children understand it that way. So you need to develop the letter reflex. You need to see what sense your child is relying on, which is very, very important. Now is always grouping the letters. So how the letters in English are, they have always been grouped according to their strokes. So group the letters according to similar strokes. So there would be like magic C letters, which already have C in it. So I'll just speak of certain letters which are called as magic C letters, like G, then C is there, then A is there, then D is there, then O is there, then Q is there. So, you know, the magic C stroke is there. Again, C, A, D, G, O, Q. So 6. So all the oval letters. Then you can call them as diver letters because you go down and then you swim up. So here I'm talking about B, you go down and then you swim up. H, go down and then you swim up. R, go down and then you swim up. N, go down and then you swim up. M, go down and then you swim up, go down and then you swim up. P, go down and then you swim up. So I hope you are able to relate. So here the kinesthetic sense is coming into action because we are labeling the letters or grouping the letters according to the similar strokes. So diver letters, magic C letters. So this is how I have divided the letters in this. Now the most important thing is how to go about, since we are talking about the learning sense of kinesthetic awareness and the other visual and auditory senses, it's very important to, before even coming to writing, it's very important to teach the child the directionality, right and left, which is very important. So even before you give a crayon to a child, it's very important. Let them explore the crayon. You'll get to know the hand dominance and everything, but work on the directionality or explore the directionality, whether they know right or left or not. So usually the hand dominance, if I want to talk about that, research says that it's going to get clear by the age of 4 years. You'll be clear what is the hand dominance. And if you're talking about the directionality, it would be mastered by 5 or 6 years. So 4 years hand dominance and the directionality, like how it is mastered, that gets mastered by 5-6 years. So this is the developmental milestone stage. Now, even there are a lot of poems, there are a lot of action songs like the Hokey Pokey song, the Simon Says, which can help you to understand, teach, train directionality to your word. Like touch your right ear with your left hand. That's it. Yeah, touch your nose with your right hand. So that is Simon Says, touch your nose with your right hand and your knee with your left hand. Directionality. That's how it's. And one important trick is what is the first thing that we are going to teach a child? Okay, some of you might call it, might say A, B, C, D in writing. Like, what is the first thing you're going to teach? That is writing the letters in writing. But I would always suggest label the letters, okay, and then teach the child the writing of the name. Because again, they are gestalt processors, visual processing system is strong. So they will learn, they will remember their name, they can read their name easily. So a trick that can be applied by using the name to teach directionality is like the shoe. there's a left shoe and the right shoe. So it's a very good idea is to write the first half of the shoe in the first half of the name in the left and the second half in the right shoe, so that the child joins the shoe left and right to get the clear reading of the full name. So that's there. Or you can write the first name in the left shoe, last name in the right shoe, and then tell the child, how can you see your full name? So that's going to lay left shoe joining the left shoe and the right shoe. So the directionality comes into play. So this is one trick. So again, there are games like this we have done very commonly. We have also played when we were young, like turn 3 steps to left, then turn 3 steps to right, like that. These are the games. So this is how the directionality goes. Then we have learned about a very important, not like we know this, many of us are aware, many of us are certified in this, then why don't use it? The handwriting without tears. So they have the wet and dry activity. They have the basically to teach the sequence of the letters. They have the wet and dry activity, very commonly done. And so when you go to the Handwriting Without Tears website, you will get the sequence of all the letters, and you will get list of many activities, especially the wet and dry activity is very popular there. So you can visit the HWT website. Next is very important is when you're doing this correcting of reversals, when you're doing correcting of the numbers reversal, it's always important to focus just on one letter and one number at one time. There would be more than one reversals, but focus on just one thing. So that's the point. Give that more repetitions, then slowly move ahead. Then another game that I can think of, if you are looking for certain reversals thing, is the tic-tac-toe game, where we have the 0 and pound sign or the 0 and the cross sign. Instead of using that, use letters like H and A. So that can again help the child to write the letters, understand the sequence of letters, orthographic coding, maybe the reversals get better. So again, you can use the same group of letters which have the similar strokes. Like you can use H and N there, which is like go down and then swim up. That's why I'm saying H and. Then is, which we have been using conventionally a lot, I have also used it, sensory activities. Write on the theraputti, which is harder than the Play-Doh. Write on clay, write on Play-Doh, write on rice, suji, then sandpaper. So this is again, whenever the tactile input is coming or the proprioceptive input is coming, it is giving that kinesthetic feedback to the fingers, traveling that entire neurological pathway is there. And that's why the child is able to develop the sequencing and the good letter understanding. So that's how it is done. Then two things I would like to say in this video cast, because I think it's getting too long and it's so much to absorb. So last two thing is for the numbers. So it's very important for the numbers, and I will separately share a video on this or a craft on this very, very soon after I post this video cast. The thumb strategy. The thumb strategy for writing the numbers. Now, how does that go is you place your thumb and then you write 2, place your thumb and then you write 3, place your thumb and you write all the numbers. So I'll share a craft on this, how it is done. So this thumb strategy is very important to teach the correct sequence, correct directionality associated with numbers, because children do reversals with the numbers also. Last is, as I had mentioned, focus on one letter, one thing at a time. Practice, practice, practice. That means repetitions. More repetitions you give to solve this reversal things, new synapses are made in the brain. That's what I was talking about, the neurological pathways, and engrams are built in the brain. So the older ones are going to get faded, new ones are going to get built up, and that is going to only lead your child to develop the correct sequencing of the letters, not do any reversals. So I hope all these approaches seem to be quite useful and you will try. If you need more help, you can connect with me. And thank you so much for watching my video cast. Thank you. Bye.